That hurt. More verticality. Recording in progress. All right. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. And just start with a little update. Because on the last show, we told you all about how the show before, MLS had made a copyright claim on our video, the one before. And then I was going to give them a call. And I did give them a call. I had 2 cell numbers. I probably found them online somewhere anyhow. So I had 2 cell numbers from the past, so I used them. And I called Dan.
The man.
Dan the man. He hasn't replied to me yet, hasn't emailed me back. And I called another gal named Marizabel. You can look them up. You can easily find out who those 2 people are if you want.
Don't reach out to these people, by the way.
No, don't bug them.
Leave them alone.
We're going to take care of it ourselves. And they probably had nothing directly to do with it anyhow, with some other dumb cocksucker at some. So, you know, I'm just going for the top folks there. And that I've talked to once in my life, briefly. And that goes back years ago. So, and I don't think either of them, I don't think that she was even there, but somebody else gave me her cell number. I've never talked to her before. Anyhow, we'll see how it goes. Right now, the video itself is, what is it called? It's in what? It's not cached. It's sort of
escrow.
Escrow, right. It's sort of a financial purgatory where they don't get our money and we don't get our money.
Until the claim has been disputed officially. Right. Thank goodness, because he used to not go that route. The people who claim used to just get the money, and then if the claim got overturned, then the money would just start going back to the actual person. Problem is, with most videos, especially like ours, most of the revenue is earned within like the first 24 to 48 hours.
Right. And it's not much, folks. It's $7. I know what they want.
Lucky on the live stream,
$7. Yeah, give me a break. So I don't know if that counts super chats. Does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, better not.
No, because I know a lot of people who do live streams and they do copyright music all the time, and they're just going to claim their ad revenue, and I don't care about that because I get more money on the super chats, etc., etc. That's what they say. Yeah.
So I did not call as Gizmo, and sadly, I have to report that Gizmo has passed away. He got really bad on Tuesday. Couldn't eat, couldn't poop, couldn't pee, couldn't move. And then on Wednesday, it was worse. And so I couldn't take it anymore. He was obviously in anguish and pain. 15 years is a long time to have an animal alive anyhow. And however, this one, especially since I've done a lot of working from home in the last 6 years, you know, he was always by my side. He's my buddy. And yes, I cried like a bitch yesterday. I cried for hours. So I cried when I took him there. I cried when I placed him on the table. I kept crying like a blubbering idiot all the way out of the vet after he was gone. And he's been my best friend. So really hard just to report, but thank you guys for all your thoughts. And yeah, it was a tough one for me. Really tough. Like I said, been a long, I think 11 or 12 years where he's just been attached to my hip everywhere I go. So, and if any of you have lost a dog before, you know, in this case, you know, I would say, in my case, the love of my life. That's saying much since I was married. That's supposed to be what that's all about, right? But no, this guy really was the love of my life. So I'm going to miss you, Gizmo. Mwah. Be peaceful in doggy heaven. Thank you, guys. Dogs are the best, and he was the best. He was the best. He was smart, bright, thoughtful. All those things you don't really necessarily think about. I might talk to my mom yesterday. She's like, yeah, he was one of the smartest dogs. And I have 2 dogs. So you always call your own dog the smartest dog. And she's like, he was the smartest dog I've ever met. They might be just saying that because he died, and they just want to, but I doubt it. I doubt it. So there's that. So we'll get into more positive things, though. But, in a sense, it's been all positive with Gizmo. So I don't want you. He had a great life. I spoiled the fuck out of that dog. I spoiled him like you wouldn't believe. And, once he started getting sick, I Googled, how long do Papillons live? It said 12 to 15 years. I'm like, well, he's almost 15 years. So, yep, this is about what we're going to do.
Yeah, he wasn't the biggest fan of me, I'll tell you that much.
No, he's not a big fan of strangers that he doesn't know. So, but you know what? He calmed down. It just took 10 minutes or so for you being there. And then he's like, whatever. Okay.
Anytime I got up, it started again. I got comfortable with you just sitting there, man.
Well,
you're moving around on me.
You're a large mammal, and I think that probably scared him too, So he could be a little jumpy like that. But if you were loyal and you were his friend, that was you were his buddy. He loved you. The other weird thing driving back from the vet, because then I went to Kroger right after that, and I have some errands to do, some things to pick up. And dude, thank God I had sunglasses on, because people would have thought, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Because I was fucking just crying like a baby while I was going through Kroger's. I couldn't stop it. But it was weird driving home and knowing that when I got this house, I had a wife, 2 kids, 2 cats, and a dog. And they're all gone. And I'm the only one left. And it's a really, really chilling thought driving home. Like, this is it. Of everybody that was here, I'm the only one left. What am I doing in a house with
time
this
for a new adventure, Derek?
How many bedrooms?
Up we go.
How many bedrooms does one person need? 4? I don't think so. And a massive basement. That's where the band used to play. Well, there's no band either. So it's time to move north, folks, and that's what I'm going to do. Wow, life stuff.
You have 4 bedrooms, which means that you had 2 TVs per bedroom, huh?
I have 8 TVs. I've thrown away 3 of them so far. So I had 8 TVs in this house. It's absolutely insane. But, wherever I want to go, if there's a U.S. soccer game on, if I'm kicking a shit, I want one in the bathroom. I don't want to miss anything because I had diarrhea.
And as he walks around the corner, there's another one in this bedroom that's turned on too, and he keeps walking. It's like never misses a kick all the way through.
Exactly. Now, thank God, in the living room, the kitchen, you can see through an opening. So if I had to go make a drink during the game, I could just keep my head turned. But I mean, I might hit my head on a door of one of the cabinets, but I was not missing a minute of that game.
Mm-hmm.
What are we drinking tonight? I am drinking vodka from Cardinal Spirits from right here in Bloomington, Indiana. So, all right.
I am fresh out of bourbon. I'm fresh out of vodka. And it was between drinking Jose Cuervo Silver or gin and tonic.
Gin and tonic.
Joe's gin and tonic today, guys.
Yes. And in a minute, I will be drinking a vodka with the new Cherry Coke Zero. Yummy. All right. Let's get this started.
Actually, let's
go
go up because this came at the very beginning of the conversation.
Okay.
Very beginning of the live stream. We kind of glossed over for a second because of other things popped up. But let's all take a moment to think about Gomez leaving.
They're done. We move
on.
Yeah, so, I think if that's what happens, that's what happens.
It's been brought up by Tact. And other people brought it up. I saw it on Tact and responded there.
Mm-hmm.
Pull it up real quick.
Okay.
But he says, so Jonathan Gomez will officially play in a youth tournament with El Tri, which means if he ever chooses to play for the United States, he'll have to file a one-time switch. Let's not be naive. His decision looks like it has been made.
Yeah.
My response was simple.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
I mean, and honestly, yeah, well, good luck with that. Because that's the record Mexico has with dual nets. It's bad. And so, we just saw them. They didn't call up Alvarez. The only guy that got called up dual net to their team, and he probably won't play during the Nations League and the friendlies, was Araujo. And he might get a few minutes here and there, but he ain't starting. So, yeah. Do we have any other questions before?
Let's hold the questions we do have until the end.
Okay. So the game we have coming up is, well, first let's cover Aaronson, right? Because that deal was official today. And it was for around about the same amount of euros we said it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I might have said dollars on the show. I meant euros. So 28 mil, somewhere around there. Oh, hold on. Filippo just texted me. Let's see what that is. Let's see. He just said cloud chasing. Laugh, laugh, laugh. What? Oh, all right. He's still texting. All right. I'll let you know what that's all about in a minute.
Right on.
Because he did change his name to Clout Chasing Manager.
Yeah.
So I had to ask him what happened. Somebody accused you. I said, did somebody accuse you of clout chasing? When someone does a thing for the sole purpose of being more popular. Yes, I'm going to reply. Didn't you change your name? You change.
Oh, he's in the chat.
Your
said,
okay.
Laughy face, laughy face. I just texted you.
Okay, yeah. I know you did. I'm replying.
On the fly.
Here we go. All right, question mark. All right, so we'll see if he wants
to. I assume when talking to Derek about this, I just assumed that a blue check mark that Filippo got into a spat with called him a clout chaser. That's my guess. Pure speculation.
Well, fuck that guy. That's all I got to say.
I haven't really been the most active on Twitter recently. It has been a hectic time of year for me at work.
I mean, saying that he's a clout chaser would be the most ridiculous thing ever. I can't think of anybody on YouTube who are generally more authentic and just themselves. Like, there's no acting going on there. Christ almighty. You guys got to know that. I mean, you people do because you're all smart. But I learned today that we aren't so smart. And I'll tell you why in a second. Not us, but people. Aaron, not our people, other people. Mm-hmm. Aaron Alexander, 199. What do you think about what happened in Uvalde, Texas? Oh, is that mass shooting at the school?
Yep.
I think it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking horrible. I don't know. I mean, I think it's sad. I think there are a lot of people with mental health issues right now, and the whole virus thing, the whole Rona did not help, with that for a lot of them. Apparently mental health issues are like shooting through the roof right now, and suicides are like through the roof right now. Like, this really hurt a lot of people. I mean, if you're a social person, you don't have anyone to talk to, that's got to kill you, or, if you were, I know people who have kids in high school and they didn't get to play their team sports for 2 years. I mean, that's just horrible. I mean, I couldn't imagine that happening to me when I was at Fort Knox or wherever else I went and played, All right. It's just devastating. So I hope if you have mental health problems out there, get some help. Give somebody a call. Don't. Yep. And, don't get wrapped up in these weird, almost cults, which is what I think the kid was wrapped up in, some sort of cult ideology.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know much about what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but I don't know many of the details.
So thoughts go out to all those kids.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, that was horrible. I always hate seeing this, and anyhow, the solution part of it is too complicated to get into here, so we are not going to get into that. But speaking of mental, what? Who they play? Scotland Yard, Fort Knox. So people don't know this, but Fort Knox is not just a big vault. Okay, there's a big army base there used to be a big army base. Obviously not anymore because everything's been moved to Fort Hood, I believe. But that is where the United States Armor Center was centered. That was the home base, Fort Knox. So there were miles and miles of land out there where they did tank wargaming. My dad commanded the 1st Readiness Battalion there for a good while. And we had a big high school. I think we had, 800 people total, but it wasn't a lot. It wasn't like
that was the size of my high school, and we lived out in Podunk, Fortville. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not big, no. But, of course, back then we didn't have double A and single A and they have all that
Would the
now.
high school have been purely military base?
Yes, just
Okay,
military
yeah,
kids.
that's a pretty big high school then.
Yes. So there were a lot of kids there. And yeah, we went to the state finals and we had to play Ballard, which would now be considered a 4A school, and we were a 1A school. So there you go. We did something right for a school that small. All right, where were we?
We're about to talk about Aaronson some more.
Yeah. Aaronson, that deal is official. He did a bunch of interviews. I watched at least 5 or 6 of the people that have Leeds shows on YouTube, and they totally embraced this interview. I mean, the signing. So it seems like a really popular signing with the Leeds fans, which is great.
For the most part, yeah.
And that's
there are definitely some people out there. I just pulled this up. This is one of the questions. Do you think Aaronson will adjust the EPL?
I think he will, because he adjusted really quickly to Austria, and then he adjusted really quickly to the Champions League. He doesn't seem like a guy that misses a bump and a beat. And the other thing about Aaronson is Aaron's a lot more closer to Dempsey and Hoppy than he is to, say, well, certainly not Sargent. Sargent's on the opposite end of that spectrum of just being a fucking confident ball-fighting motherfucker. Like, he will fuck you up. He will bust his balls. He will never give up. He will never lose confidence. I don't care how bad of a game he has. So that's the kind of guy.
This is basically just. I feel like most of the people were fine with it. I think a lot of people were fine with it because of this.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, I went through the announcement just to see what the comment section was looking like on Twitter, and yeah, for the most part, everybody seemed high on him, except for the rando idiots that were like, never failed in the Austrian League, and then etc. He's going to fail here, and we're going to get relegated.
He failed in the Austrian League?
I think they're looking at numbers. He had something like 4 goals and 1 assist, but I mean that's not necessarily.
No, he didn't.
MO.
No.
I thought somebody posted that. I thought
he had 46 games total, 10 goals or 10 assists, 10 goals, I believe, out of all his games at Red Bull. So that's 20 goals out of 46 games. So his contributions to scoring, and then if you look at the total minutes he's played, he's basically scored a goal every 130 minutes or been involved in a goal scoring situation every 130 minutes. I did the math.
6 goals, 10 assists. I'm not sure what graphic I saw, because for some odd reason they said they had 4 goals, 1 assist. So maybe that was a specific, maybe just the league or something like that. I don't know. Maybe, but it's very specific, and I just closed it out. So I could have scrolled back up and verified that, I guess.
Dude, I don't even have the numbers in front of me, and I could tell you immediately those are wrong. So.
Yeah, again, it must have been isolated to just the league or something like that. Regardless,
or the games he watched.
Well, my response to the guy that said he failed, blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, now that he's with Leeds, maybe you'll actually get an opportunity to watch him play. Because clearly you've never seen him play. If you thought he failed,
obviously.
I mean, he's never failed anywhere he's gone.
He's the best player on their team. I mean, and it's
that's what it is. It's his stats with the U.S. men's national team is what it was, I guess.
Oh, I don't think those are that bad either.
No, that'd be a hell of a good standard given how many games he actually played with the Nats.
Yeah, I don't think I would call that a failure either. Karen or whoever wrote that, So whoever wrote it, he was a failure. That's just some dummy, some big dummy.
Yeah, there were actually some constructive comments. Saying he's a skilled player, but he's going to get pushed off the ball a lot. And I said, taking skills out of the equation. Aaronson is a blue collar worker from the more or less Midwest. Yeah, Midwest.
Yeah.
And he might get pushed off the ball. More likely, he'll get fouled before that occurs. But
they filmed this.
I don't think him adjusting to EPL is going to be an issue, and he's definitely not going to take time to adjust to Marsch's system because he's already played the system.
I tell you what, they filmed his whole physical or parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a skinny motherfucker, though. That dude needs to put on some pounds, man. He needs to lift some weights and all that, I was skinny but not when at his age. No, 21. I mean, I'm big belt anyhow. So, but I got big forearms and shit, from jerking off a lot. No, actually, it's from playing tennis. So I got these Popeye things going on here. But yeah. All right. What was that? What did I do?
I don't know. I was gonna roll that. I wasn't gonna say a single fucking thing, man. I was just like, okay, we're just gonna roll and move forward with that.
What did I do? A goat? That's more like a goat. All right. Oh, by the way, before I forget, peace and thoughts with Ray Liotta and his whole family. He passed away today. Yeah, of course, we all know Ray from Goodfellas.
Oh, absolutely.
What amazing. He was also good. What's the one where he gets his brain eaten while he's sitting at the table? The guy who eats people.
Silence of the Lambs, but it was it Silence or was it?
It was a different one, but yeah, I can't remember.
Red Dragon. What the fuck was the second one called?
I don't know. I don't remember. Didn't have a big moth on it or something. I don't know. I don't remember.
Animal.
Ah, yes.
Had them all except for his name.
That was
He was also in Field of Dreams, another great movie.
Yep. That was one of the creepiest scenes I've ever watched, but he was amazing in that too. Goodfellas is probably what most people remember from.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that was a great movie. That whole ending scene where he's sniffing coke, trying to make spaghetti sauce, driving around town, trying to get rid of guns. Meanwhile, the whole "What is my life" is playing in the down. It's such a badass song to go along with that scene. I mean, that movie, by the way, is just fucking awesome. What am I like a clown to you?
What do you mean funny? Funny how?
Anyhow, the other crazy thing with the Leeds fans today that I noticed, because one of the guys, his name is Casey Vision. I watched his show, and he said that Barcelona are obviously all over trying to get Rafinha, and they have offered so far. Apparently, behind the scenes, just rumors right now, they have offered Leeds $40 million for Rafinha plus Dest.
Holy fuck! How do you not take that?
I know, but he didn't think that was enough. He thought it should be $70 million plus Dest. He thinks they're getting ripped off with Rafinha, that he's worth more than $40 million. I don't know about that, but I think $40 million in Dest sounds like a good deal to me. He didn't have anything bad to say about Dest. He'd say, I'd like to have him, but we need as much money as possible for Rafinha. So, I don't know. I just didn't think that. I thought 40 million plus Dest sounds like a great deal. I'd take it. Now, the other guy, he did say, people are going to start to worry how many Americans we're going to have on this team. Well, as long as they're good ones, I wouldn't worry that much. And Dest would be a great addition. You could move Ailing back to center back or out to left back maybe, or move him somewhere else on the field. Holding midfielder. I don't know where you move Ailing. But Dest can play left back too. So it's not like he just is going to kick Ailing out of his job at right back. And I personally, I know not all Leeds fans but as long as I've been watching Leeds since Jesse got there, I've become a fan of Ailing. I know occasionally he does a dumb foul and sometimes he's injured, but please, Morton, 40 mil and Dest is perfect. Rafinha can't shoot anyway. Well, he had issues. That's for sure this season.
But apparently Dest has expressed his interest in not leaving Barcelona because he's currently building a house.
Why didn't he just buy a house? Why do you have to build one? That takes time. Where he must be in an apartment right now, would be my guess. Like an apartment somewhere in Barcelona near the stadium. So it takes like 10 minutes to drive to work. That would be great. Man, imagine that being your job. All right, let's take some questions.
Before pulling those up, I will say there was a.
You had
comments. I'm never going to be able to find the tweet about this, but a Juve fan had mentioned, and I felt like this is kind of taken the wrong way, but a Juve fan had talked about how like if Juventus is offered $35 million for McKennie, that you absolutely take that deal, and I guess people were taking that kind of an offensive, like offended that. Why would you get rid of your best midfielder? Because a lot of people are saying, McKennie's was Juve's best midfielder. And there was a stat that came out. Somebody posted a over the last 2 years that he's been with Juventus, he's been responsible for up to he was responsible for 40% of their goals. Not necessarily the assists or the goals per se, but he was he was a key player for that, responsible for it. So people are getting up in arms like, why would you trade him? I would trade this person, this person, this person. I didn't disagree with that aspect, but I'm just saying from a Juve standpoint, you offer you get 35 mil for any of those midfielders.
Because they
only going to take it.
I know they pay pennies on the dollar to get them. So,
yeah. I mean 35 million would be a they would end up grossing something like 7 million from that transfer because they end up paying Schalke like 28, I think, total.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that was a very offending. I wasn't offended by the comment because, I mean, quite frankly, I would imagine Juve would probably look at that as good business. I mean, 35 million coming in, we probably can get somebody else to help bolster up the midfield and go from there.
I mean, if it's a Premier League team, it'll be even higher than that, honestly, because you always.
I think 35 mil was the number that was being floated to Atletico. I think when they were doing the whole Morata transfer talk.
What's his worth on Transfer Market?
Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, I mean that'll give you some clue because I think Aaronson's value on Transfer Market is 16 million. And he just, because he went to a Premier League team, he just went for 28.
Oh, we'll do both here just to get actual numbers. 22 mil for Brenden.
Okay. That just went up because I just looked at it yesterday.
So, Weston McKennie is 27.5.
Yeah, so 35. That's a fair offer. But if it's a, bidding war starts, it could get up to 40.
And quite frankly, I mean, unless the deal is just too good to pass, I don't see Allegri necessarily doing it at this point because whenever McKennie is fit, he's back. He's on the field.
Oh, he loves him.
I guess the most offensive things that they were saying is that they didn't rate him anything more than just a rotational player, somebody off the bench type thing. He doesn't have the ball skills for this, and he shouldn't be part of the Juventus midfield, if you will.
Man, that's some cocksucking bullshit. That's some idiots there. That's people who are too wrapped up in saying, we're Juve. Were these Italians? I doubt it. I bet you they're American.
I don't know. I didn't dig into the profiles to find
American Juveers, And, if you watch any of those games, god damn. I'm just asking them, are you watching the games? Because he's pretty clearly one of the best players, midfielders, from box to box on that team. He does the most work going backwards and a whole lot of work going forwards too. So
Bob says, I thought Juve paid 18 mil. So if memory serves me correct, Juve paid Schalke 22 mil for the official transfer because he was on loan there.
Yes.
And they made the transfers for 22 mil. And I think with bonuses for playing minutes, et cetera, it came out to like 28, and he definitely hit all those marks because he played almost every single game, like literally. Because when he first went there, Juve was littered with injuries and COVID positive COVID tests, and McKennie played through injuries, like nagging back injuries through that entire season. Still played fucking good, but no, he absolutely hit those bonus marks. So I think the total came out to something along the lines of about 28 mil, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Although Bob's sticking to 18.5, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
You'd have to look it up on Transfer Market.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull back some.
You got to pull that back up again.
maybe 22 was after the bonuses. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of then.
Well, and then you got the euros and dollars shit that Are they talking about dollars? Or are they talking about euros? Oh, there's the symbol. Okay, there it is. But we'll figure it out either way. Either way, if I'm Juventus, I'm not giving away yet.
So it was the fee was 22.55 and MV market value. Okay, so the 22.55 is what they paid. Now I don't know if that means that was the actual the fee, which I guess if you're talking about million, if that's in American dollars, 18.5 makes sense as far as the euro is concerned.
Yeah.
So. And again, I thought that was the base. I thought there were bonuses too, but maybe not. Oh, maybe it's loan fee. The loan fee was like 5 mil, and then the 22.5. Maybe that's where the 28 came from.
Oh, a little update. The Sonora brothers were really the only brothers active this weekend. Morata is a striker that scores like a midfielder. But Joel Sonora was playing the Libertad. I can't talk tonight. And his team won. That's Fellas Sarsfield, right? He got an assist and they won. He went 77 minutes for him. So I thought I'd bring that up because both of the brothers played. Alan played in the Sudamericana. So they're both in these, big South American tournaments. But he lost. He went 90 and they lost.
Mm-hmm.
There are other guys like Terrence Boyd went 90 for Kaiserslautern and they got the win and they are going to be promoted to the 2 Bundesliga. Congratulations to Terrence Boyd. And yeah, so I just want to throw out a few guys that played this week. Nobody played on Monday. It was kind of sad. All right, let's do some more comments and questions.
I'm trying to find that one kid's name at Espanyol or wherever that U.S. Canadian dual nat.
Good luck.
That I sent you, but he's been called up, and I'm trying to scroll through their roster, and I don't see it.
Called up by who?
Canada.
Oh, well, because he's on the 2 team, not Espanyol. He's on Espanyol 2.
But he's been called up by Canada and has accepted the call up. Mind you, my guess is that they were planning on utilizing him for the Iran friendly, which has now been canceled. And now Canada has no friendlies leading into Nations League.
What happened? Why did it get canceled?
There was an issue with a flight coming out of Iran that got shot down, and some like 50 some odd Canadians were on that flight or something like that. And Canada, some people came out and said, like, well, Canada's paying Iran like $400,000 to come play them. And then Canada national team ended up canceling the friendly.
Oh, because they were embarrassed by what they had done?
Well, I mean, obviously the friendly was set up before the plane being shot down. So
I don't remember hearing about that.
You're going to make me look this up too now, huh?
Well, I didn't hear about the plane being shot down by Iranians with Canadians on it. I didn't hear about that.
Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752. Yeah, I don't know. From what I read, the small amount that I read, the plane had literally just taken off the runway and then
the Iranians shot a land air missile at it.
That's what the Canadians are saying.
Okay, well, I missed that part of the news. I don't know how. That happened yesterday?
It had to have happened recently because they just canceled the friendly.
When you say just today?
Maybe hold on. Yeah, that's not it. Sorry, the one I looked at was wrong. Hold on. Give me 2 minutes.
Yeah, go for it. A moment. Yeah. So I was gonna say this earlier, but I was watching a guy's show called Flecka's Talks. I don't know if you've heard of this guy, but he goes out and he asks like common youth questions, like high schoolers and college kids.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Here it is. That's exactly what I was just about to say. It was in January of 2020.
I thought it happened a long time ago because, like, there had been no current recent planes being shot down by Iran. Yeah, that might have been something those dumb fucks up there might have thought about before scheduling the friendly. That there might be some pushback from the public, but I mean, you have a lot of other choices you could make about who you want to have a friendly with. So I don't know why you do something that might be controversial, but whatever. They fucked up. Now they had to cancel it. Now they're going to play themselves. Play with their own balls.
Justin Trudeau said that it was a bad idea to invite the Iran team to Canada. Yeah.
Well, there's always been this distinction between the Iranian government and the people. Obviously, the soccer players are people. They had nothing to do with shooting down that plane. But it is what it is. I mean, we've always said that the Iranian people aren't the problem. Making him the youngest U.S. born player to play in La Liga Oh, there's your guy.
Yep. I was pulling up. And he hasn't closed the door, and I agree. And I was going to say, because what's one Canadian YouTube that streams with Filippo?
I never remember his name.
JJDT or
something like that.
JJTV. Welcome up in the chat. I clearly don't watch enough of his content. Unfortunately, I should sit down and watch more of it.
Why?
I mean, he's really good on his show.
Oh, does he do more than Canadian stuff?
No, not really. JJD TV. There we go. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. No, his stuff's interesting to listen to.
No, he's good. I like when they have him on.
Very good on the camera.
Yeah, I like when Tactical Manager has him on.
But I watched his video about this, and one thing he was talking about was that how would you say this guy's name? Kolyasha,
I think.
Well, they're talking about bringing him in, probably since he's planning on keeping the door open, that they're most likely just going to play him in the friendly against Iran. But now that there's no friendly against Iran, I mean, one, it kind of makes the Canadian men's national team look foolish in the eyes of possibly Abdul Naat. But then two, there's no game for him to play in. So basically he's going to fly over just to play in the or practice with the team, maybe.
No, they're going to hand him a carving knife and a block of wood and ask him to make a some sort of maple leaf flag.
He does do Dortmund too, yeah.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, he's always got the yellow stuff in the background. Yeah, I've seen him 3 or 4 times. I should know better, but my brain doesn't retain Canadian people that much. Sorry if you are Canadian. My apologies. All right, more questions, more comments. I know we had a bunch.
But we've got some we can go over before we do the Nats.
If you are in the chat, go ahead. Send us a question. We've got
news this past week has been sparse.
It is. We've got 24 minutes to fill. So, I should return. Hold on. I didn't finish the Flecka Talk guy. So he goes out in the streets with his mic, right? And he just stops young people between the age of like 16 and 20 and asks them things like, do you know how many states there are? These motherfuckers don't know how many states are in the United States of America? Really?
51. Puerto Rico's a state now, right?
No, it's not. Who fought in the Civil War? Not a single one of the people that he had. There were 7 different ones or something. I counted them. Didn't had any fucking clue what the Civil War was about and who fought in it. And then they asked him what the capital of the United States is. The most common answer was, "Oh, there's a capital of the United States."
Where was he asking these questions at?
I don't know where he lives. I have no clue. But they all spoke fluent English and were young. How's that? How many eggs in a dozen? 10. Most popular answer was 10. And then the other one was, how long is a decade? Seriously? You don't know how long a fucking decade is? What are we teaching our kids?
Maybe they're mixing up decade and dozen.
Oh my God, they might be. What's the significance of 1776 for our country? No one fucking knew. No one knew. Was that when Lincoln became president? No, it's not. God damn it. What are we teaching our kids in school right now? They don't know anything. God. The only
our chat does. Our chat knows.
Yeah, that's right, Regalio. Yes. Here's a man who knows his stuff. All right. And yes, I can read that kind of basic Spanish. Hey. I know what anos means. Chris Gary, I'm proud to say I know all of these. The hardest one he asked was, where is Mount Rushmore located? And nobody knew. Well, that's could be a little tough. I mean, it is South Dakota's.
It's weird, though, that Indiana doesn't have that many mountains, but they did have a mountain to make Mount Rushmore.
There were a bunch of people who guessed there were 19 states in the United States, or 12.
Big fucking states, man.
One guy said 12.
Every single state's the size of Alaska.
Oh, my God. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. Anyhow, yeah. Those things pop up intermittently on my feed, and I'm like, well, what? Surely. People are going to know the answers to these. Leeds fan from Ireland here. Delighted with the Aaronson signing. Sorry. That's
kind of branched into Scottish there, Derek.
No, that was Irish. Have you noticed more media attention over there with Jesse and today's signing? Sorry, I butchered your language, Paul, or your accent.
The only thing you missed there was putting in an English accent. And I feel like you would have encompassed almost everybody in that area.
It's harder to do a Scottish and an Irish accent. It's easier to do an English one. So that's Irish. And it's probably more Scottish. Brett's right. He's probably right.
Of course I'm right.
So I used to do a lot of impersonations when I was a kid. So that's why I can do some accents. Like,
are you having a stroke?
No. I used to do Howard Cosell when I was a kid. This is Howard Cosell. Anyhow, I did a lot of impressions when I was a kid. Got me a lot of attention. So there you go. So I continue to do them. Yeah. Hey, welcome to the show, Paul. Delighted in the Aaronson sighting. We were too. We're really excited. We think he's going to be a good fit there, and he has balls the size of a fucking elephant, so he's not going to be afraid of that situation. He's not going to be like a soft Sargent type, all right? Like when Sargent went to Norwich, and he's kind of like doesn't ask for the ball, doesn't demand the ball.
So I guess you wouldn't want to say soft, because I always think soft is physicality, and I think a physical aspect.
He's very physical.
Not an issue.
He's emotionally soft.
Yeah, emotionally soft, and just not a greedy son of a bitch.
He's not the kind of guy that's going to get in your face and say, "Hey, man, I was fucking wide open. What are you fucking doing?"
His teammate from Bremen that followed him. Why am I spacing his name?
Sargent? Oh, Rashika?
Yeah, he needs to be more like Rashika.
Rashika's actually a greedy prick, though.
That's what I'm saying. He needs to be more like that. That's what I'm saying.
I'd rather him be, more like Dempsey. And I think you're going to get more Dempsey in Aaronson than he's going to be a guy who's going to fight his ass off. He's never going to be intimidated. He got a little bit of that suave. So he's not going to be a chicken shit. You're not going to have to worry about him shrinking in the situation. He will never shrink. And the other good thing is he's already worked with Jesse, so he'll be able to help the other guys understand Jesse's system even better. So,
like Bob says, he's got an engine.
And God,
that plays right into Marsch's wheelhouse for that.
He's a fucking energizer buddy. He will not stop running ever. He'll press 90 minutes. He'll be dead by the time the game whistle's blown. He'll keel over and fucking pass out, but he will run 100% the whole game. What was the rest of his question?
Oh, have we noticed more media? Hold on, let me pull it up and get the actual quote here.
Media, MLS covered it.
Have you noticed more media attention over there with Jesse and today's signings? So yes,
and other people, yes,
you're going to see the more attention given, because anytime an American player goes to another team, there's going to be a flurry of media attention. Now, some breakdown more.
Don't think anybody cares here. Philadelphia fans cared. They were pretty hyped up today.
I would say most of the soccer media probably has posted something about this.
Yeah, like American Soccer Now.
ESPN, Fox, everybody pass it up. If you go down the list, guarantee you that every single soccer punditry out there has posted something about it.
Something, yes, I'll agree. But as far as like mainstream press, like mainstream ESPN, like the whole Sports Center, no, they haven't mentioned a goddamn thing. Oh, not a word. No,
I wouldn't hold my breath expecting that ESPN, actual Sports Center, announce anything soccer related.
Well, nothing on Fox Sports either. So I'm just saying, like the big venues, no. Philadelphia is excited because of the percentage of the fee they get. Yeah, I think it's going to end up being somewhere around $5 million or something like that. So they're still
it's between 10 and 20% is what I heard.
Mm-hmm. I did the math earlier. I don't think it's 20.
Somebody posted the number. It's between 10 and 20 is what they said. And I'm not saying that it's going to be 20.
It might,
but it might be like 15 or something like that.
It might. Anyhow, I don't remember. I did the math earlier, and now the math is out of my head. Oh, by the way, when we play Morocco, which we'll get around to, I just noticed today that Hakim Ziyech is retired from the national team. He's only 29. He just turned 29 years old, and he retired from the Moroccan national team already. That's insane. He just must have hated the travel, I guess. It's not that far.
Couldn't that be kind of like the was it Carlos Vela that did the same thing, like just like retired at a young age for the Mexican national team?
Maybe they have problems with their federation in Morocco. I don't know. But anyhow, more questions? Let's keep going.
Doesn't get along with the manager
Ah.
and the head coach.
Well, maybe he shouldn't say retired. He should say
strong.
He should just say, I'm not going to be on the national team as long as this dumbass is running it. Maybe that's what he should say instead of saying, I'm retiring from the team. Politically, that might work. But if you're disappointed with the manager, then just say it. You're a fucking star player on that team. So anyhow, it should be a good fight for us, that game, by the way. All right, we got more questions before we do our starting 11. Oh, back to Sparkle Duck. I've asked several times about my testicles. I feel bad for not inquiring about either of y'all's before. How is everything going in that department? Well, I hope.
No complaints.
We did help him with a testicle question, I believe, at some point, right? Yeah, mine are great now. I mean, of course, when I had my massive hernia, they were about the size of an elephant nutsack. That wasn't good. And then, of course, I had the massive surgery. They put all my intestines back where they should be, and everything's good now. So there you go. Like, still got a big ass scar on my, but who looks at the bottom of the ball sack? Not me. If you are looking at the bottom of your ball sack, you're either very flexible or you got a very, very long pair of balls that you can turn the direction towards your eyeballs.
We've all heard about having mirrors over top the bed, but it's weird having mirrors on the floor. It's just strange.
Yeah, not to Hope Solo, it isn't. All right, Markaloff. Oh, by the way, Hope, we love you. So that's just a joke. Just a kind of joke. All right, Derek, why are you opposed to having too many Americans all in one team? I was too young when Full America happened, but I feel like with an American manager, we now have access to Premier League. Plus, we have talented guides, even though Des is now linked to Leeds. All right. The reason is that Jesse will lose his team. Like he'll lose them in the locker room. They'll be like, "What's the deal with just signing all these fucking Americans?" And the fans, they will also go, "Hey, there are other guys out there, but Americans. There are more." So we don't need that. So he's got to be gentle. I'm not against it. I'd love to see Fulham America again. Full America. It was great.
Well, at a given moment, Full America only had 3 Americans at the time?
Yeah, and they still had a foreign owner at the time. They later sold it to the owner of the Panthers. But at the time, it was not an American owner, was not an American manager. And so them going out and getting these players was because Fulham didn't have a huge budget. And so they could get American players at a good price. And they believed in them. And they played them. So, I mean, except for Johnson. He didn't get played much. But everybody else did. Dempsey, McBride, Keller, Bocanegra. And even before that, there was the American Beckham. What was his name? God damn it. He played on the national team, too. I forgot his name. But anyhow, he was the first American at Fulham.
So speaking of which...
Eddie
Johnson?
No, not Eddie Johnson. Eddie Lewis was the first American to play for Fulham. Eddie Lewis. Yeah.
There was a Leeds fan when on the announcement of Aaronson. There was a Leeds fan commented on the thread, and it said basically, because I never thought I'd live to see the day where Leeds are owned by an American, have an American manager, and signing American players. Then it showed an emoticon of a face with an emoticon gun next to it. And a lot of people's responsible. Well, minority owner. They're not the majority owner. They're still owned by an Italian, majority. I
have people who I would classify, 4 of them, who are English that I know very well in my life. And we'll even include Simon in this, right? Simon Allen, who we've been in touch with for years. Good friend of ours. We disagree with him on a host of things. But we've always had a great relationship with Simon. And he's pretty negative on American players sometimes. He was very negative on Ream through the years. But I do get the sense that there is a segment out there who just don't like you because you're an American. That is like me saying, well, I don't like you because you're English. That would be a bad thing to say, wouldn't it? It's ridiculous to say something like that. Well, I don't like Americans.
That's a pretty common thing to hear on the social.
Well, yeah, because we got a lot of dumb people in this country, obviously. And they often get to represent us. And it's not fair.
Oh, no, I'm saying we hear on social webs I don't like Americans. And this is not me throwing a pity party by any means. I could care less. I'm just saying it's a very common thread.
Yeah, no, because those morons who say those things haven't met the right Americans. Or they've not met any Americans, and they're making an assumption based on politics or some news station they watched or some TMZ video on fucking YouTube or whatever they're doing it. But we're good people, most of us, or a lot of us are. But
man,
yeah,
we're pulling in a lot of Leeds fans.
Yes.
Assuming from the United Kingdom there. It's got to be what time is it? It's 9:30 almost now.
That's all right.
2 o'clock there.
He just got back from the pub. What the hell? Yeah. HM says, evening, lads. Leeds fan here. Our minority co-owners, the 49ers, get a lot of flack despite having no serious power. That's true. So agree with Derek that too many U.S. players will get certain supporters all pissy. Yes, it will. You got to be careful with that.
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, there are certain supporters already pissy that Marsch is there.
And it didn't have for Fulham when you bring in McBride and he becomes like the most popular player on the team. Then it makes it easier to bring Dempsey. Makes it easier to bring Bocanegra. So let's say next season, Aaronson's there and he fucking is great. Then people are going to go, well, fuck it. Bring on more Americans. Seems to work pretty good. It's working all right. So, but you got to build, like, Marsch hasn't even really established himself yet. His next season is it's going to be his legacy there at Leeds. So he needs to keep them up and keep them mid-table, I think, safe so no one's nervous. And then people will start to like Jesse Marsch. Not that they don't like him now, but there are some naysayers. So it's going to take some time for Jesse. And then after the last whole locker room speech and his interviews, I was like, Jesse, shut the fuck up. Just shut your mouth. Stop telling people what to do. They can do whatever. They want to chant your name. They can. They want to chant your name and say at the end of it is shit, which is what they might do next season if you don't do well. So just take the good while you got it, buddy.
So I've got to wonder, and we've got a number of Euro listeners right now. If Leeds were to bring in somebody like Brooks, we mentioned this last stream, but if they bring in somebody like Brooks on the free, and they got Dest on this transfer, like we were talking about, despite the fact that they play for the U.S., obviously they spent their entire lives for the most. And
people are talking about Adams too.
Okay, well, just talk about Brooks and Dest because they've spent most of their life, if not all of their life, in Europe, Germany and Holland.
Yeah.
Would they be considered by Leeds fans as U.S. players in that sense?
Yes,
same sense as Aaronson or Adams, or would they be considered as German or Dutch in that sense?
No, I think watching the videos I watched today, they'd still be considered American, even though we all know that Des grew up in Holland, played for Ajax, then he moved to Barcelona. That's a Dutch dude that also has American father. All right, Brooks. He's never lived here. Brooks grew up, was born in Germany, had an American father, probably visited America, I would guess. But, I mean, he is German, very German, but he's a German American. So, I don't know, because I would say there are going to be a minority of fans at Leeds who are dedicated to knowing everything about every player. But then your average Leeds fan might just look at, oh, God, there's another American flag. Oh, shit, there's another American. What the fuck's going on? This guy's only signing 4 Americans in one window? If that happens, there's going to be some issues. Now, the only way you can fix those issues during the season, if that ends up happening, is by winning and doing well. But otherwise, you're going to get some flack for a while because people are going to say you're biased. You're biased, Jesse, because look at all your signings. 90% of them are Americans. So you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful.
Yeah. No, I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying. I'm just curious how other people, especially Leeds fans in England, would look at, say, players who are predominantly spent their entire lives in Europe.
Yeah, I just think, you can go do your thing if that's what you want to do and get all these American players that would come at a good price. Brooks, as you said, would come on a free. I don't know what he'd be asked for a weekly fee, but it's probably not going to be low because we know Brooks asked for a high wage, which is why Wolfsburg's like, either you take a pay cut or you're out of here. And he said, fuck you, I'm out of here.
Quickly respond to Anita here.
You do need a pound, huh? It's good to see more female viewers of the show.
Yeah, we had one female viewer last show, guys.
We did, and she made a point of it at the end of the show, which was really nice. Hey, Anita, there are all ways to solve that problem. But am I going to the Indy 500? I desperately want to, but my dog just died, and I decided I didn't really want to go. My dad didn't really want to go either yet. He's getting up there, guys. So, but he would be the only reason I would go. My dad and I would go. We might go next year. But my mom and are going to play golf on Sunday, and we're going to tape the race and watch it later. Leeds defense is pretty poor. Brooks might be too slow to help in the Marsch system. Yeah, that's the only problem really is that Marsch likes to press, and that means counters. You're susceptible to counters, so you need center backs that are quick, and that's not really Brooks. So I think Brooks is out of this discussion. I don't think he's in this discussion, but I think the serious discussion is the Dest question, and Adams would be a fucking perfect fit in the holding midfielder role in Jesse's system. So, but can he do it? Will he pull the trigger? Brooks doesn't play for the U.S. It's true. He does not anymore. That is so true. Chris Richards to Leeds confirmed by Derek Ritchie. No.
That's going to be on Twitter.
Don't do that, Chambers. That is not the case. Don't use my name to make false claims. All right. Thoughts on the reoccurring Pomacall debate? It shouldn't be reoccurring. He needs to have a full goddamn season of playing top soccer for FC Dallas, and it can't be just stats that look good. He's got to look good, period. Doyle says that his stats prove he's more effective than most of our eights, including those on the roster. Like who? Roldan? Tact, and the vast majority of people disagree. I have to say I agree with Tact and the majority of people.
So that brings up
watch
a great
the
point.
games.
I wonder if Doyle is talking about Leggett and Roldan, because in his debate, or not his debate, but his thread on Twitter, he talks about how Paul McCall has like the best stats this season of all MLS midfielders. Okay. And so maybe he is talking about like the Roldan or Leggett as far as not getting an option. I mean, it'd be apples and oranges if you're trying to compare him to stat-wise to our eights that are playing in Europe right now.
I mean, he had a horrible last season, folks. Anybody that watched it, I mean, FC Dallas had basically a pretty crummy season last year.
Chris expands on it.
No, Musa plays in Spain. De La Torre plays in Holland. And Weston plays in Italy. So those are much better leagues to be a center midfielder in than MLS. I'm sorry. All of them got an edge. So I don't care what his stats prove, I don't, because you can't compare apples to oranges, and that's what we would be doing.
Has Heracles played their playoff for relegation yet?
I thought they fought just outside of that, didn't they?
No, they have 34 points. They're in the relegation zone, but they have the playoff spot.
Okay, I think they played one of those games already. Pretty sure they played one of them already.
Let's see here. May 7th, no. May 11th, 15th, 18th. Here we go. Dutch playoffs, second round. Wow, I think Heracles is going down.
Yeah.
So they lost 3-0 in the first leg, and then lost 1-3 in the second leg. Good Lord.
Who was that to?
Excelsior.
Thank you. God,
they got stomped.
Yeah, they got their asses smashed.
So I wonder. I wonder
by
if
the
they're
second team.
Yeah, I wonder if there are teams that are going to be vying for. At this point. Yeah,
I think you'll see like PSV or Feyenoord. I think you're going to see a better club go after him.
At least just another mid-table team will take anybody at this point.
A mid-table Dutch team will go after him. There's no way he's going down with Heracles. No way, not as good as he played. Not on being player of the month for his team. I think once or twice, and in the league once. Yeah, player of the league.
League with the
best 11.
Best 11.
Yeah.
Weeks, many weeks at that. Yeah. He'll garner some interest.
Yes,
I'll be surprised if he's playing in Dutch too.
And imagine if he played on a team with people that could actually finish a goal.
Yeah, wouldn't that be amazing?
Hits them in the feet inside the 9. Really? Could be, but just don't go to Venezia.
Yeah, well, you can. That'd be in Serie B.
Mm-hmm. Which is
now, Nate, are you saying that there's interest mid-table in Syria, or are you saying that he should go to Syria mid-table?
Yeah, it's a good question because it really does make well, back to Fulham. Wouldn't Fulham feel kind of stupid doing that?
Be like a permanent loan for a transfer back. Yeah, that'd be a little silly.
Yeah, I think they've lost that battle already because they're going to have to pay a lot more than they sold him for. So I don't even know if they sold him. It might have been a free transfer for all I know.
I think it was unfree. I think he may have been loaned and then just like, go ahead.
Yeah. Don't remember the history of that, but that's
but as a whole, as far as again, just finalizing the Pomacall debate here, he needs to have a full season, like you said, Derek.
Yeah,
before he's in any contention, in any argument, he needs to have a full season that he does not get injured in.
Healthy, healthy, playing well, getting assists, getting goals. So I have no inside scoop. I wish. Jasper Redican, I can see Luca in Serie A or League One. He would fit in with both of those, I think. They're not overly physical, but, being physical doesn't seem to bother him much, even though he's a small mammal. So, small compared to me and Brett. So I think he's 5'8", something like that. Stats prove he's more for the middle. No. Do you think Aaronson will adjust well to EPL? Yeah, I mean, as in earlier, just reiterate this. He adjusted well to Austria. He adjusted.
We already talked about that,
yeah.
We didn't mention the name then either. Art Vandelay.
At
Vandelay Industries.
Is this Mitch's business?
I don't know.
How come he keeps changing his name? Mitch, what's up with you changing your name?
Mitch wants us to say the ice wallow cum type names.
Art Vandelay.
I don't know what this is though. This must be a reference.
I don't hear anything there.
I'm not Googling it just because I don't trust it.
All right. Thoughts on the
another Chris
this Juve fan? Okay, dude, acting as if Juve has a game tomorrow. He has a month and entire preseason to get in shape. Plus, this is just creepy, man. You go on looking for shirtless pics of your club's players. You check their body fat percentages. Creepy, Adamo.
All right, let's see what's up here.
Adamo Luciano sounds like somewhat of a real Italian. Adamo Statman. This is called being unprofessional, folks. I had thought that the Texas boy had turned the corner and knew what it meant to be a Juventus player. Guess I was wrong. That's fat. That is the tiniest amount of fat I've ever seen on a person that is supposedly fat.
New haircut going on there.
Dude, that guy's always been built this way. Dude, always.
No, not that. I mean, he's been out for like 4 months. I mean, he's just with a broken foot. It's not like he can sit on the sideline and do sprints or even ride a bike or the stationary bike consistently.
I mean, so it's not him being unprofessional. It's about you being unintellectual or not thoughtful. That's for sure. The guy's been out for a while, hasn't been able to walk on one leg for a little while, dumbass. So give him a break. Oh, Jesus, Derek, we talked about this last visit. Stop responding to Twitter. Your blood pressure cannot take it. Oh, I'm fine. And Brett, I don't care how sweet the super chats are. Stop enabling. What? Well, we've not enabled anybody. And I really don't have a cardiologist. So
got a I didn't mean to click on that. I did see another chat in there. Somebody mentioned it. Chris Gary says Luca to Ajax, and then
maybe
where was it? Somebody followed that up with something. Christ, I can't think of it. Somebody said Pete mentioned it, but I can't. Here you go. Pete was saying that right, Chris. I would love because such quality playing around him. So apparently Pete is saying that Luca to Ajax. Now, again, I'm not sure if he has inside scoop.
But I don't think so. No.
Derek, listen to your doctor.
Listen, guys, you'd have never seen me upset for the reels on the show. You don't want to see that. Trust me. That is not a good place to be.
Ooh, nice rebrand for Leeds.
Yep. No. No, don't do that.
Oh, Chris.
This is just how my family was raised. We're loud talkers. Like if you would hear, well, Brett's been over for dinner. He knows. We're loud. All of us are loud.
Mm-hmm.
We're just loud people. That doesn't mean we're really that upset, actually, but we do like to express ourselves. So you check their body fat percentages. I love that.
I mean, it's sad that they're pushing that far into it to try to find anything to discredit him.
Is that a Juventus fan?
The one that posted the half naked Weston picture? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, he just needs some mental help. He'll be fine.
Again, Weston's coming off of a broken foot injury. He's not going to be,
He's always been chunky anyhow. That's how he's built. He's chunky. It's okay. It doesn't stop him from being a great player.
Chunky and compared to Ronaldo.
I'm like slightly chunky. What do you want? What word do you want me to come up with here? He's not svelte. There's a word for you.
I said that literally like 10 seconds ago, but
svelte?
Yeah. I mentioned I'm like he's not svelte, but I think the preseason last season and leading into the first games, and we saw this in the first World Cup window. He hadn't been doing his planks and running 2 miles a day. But I think he got his ass reamed figuratively, not literally, guys, by probably Allegri and staff. And after about a couple weeks to a month, all of a sudden he was a completely different player on the pitch. He was quicker, he was sharper, he was just more agile. So I think he can fluctuate back and forth. I mean, he is the head of the Chipotle marketing.
Although, if you just eat their like salad bowls with the chicken in it, you're not going to get fat from that. But if he eats a lot of burritos, yeah, and drinks a lot of Coca-Cola, yeah, not going to make you fat. Maybe Wes did that guy's sister.
Yeah, the Juve fan.
Well, he is known for that. He likes people's sisters. Guess what? I've done people's sisters. It happens.
There you go. Ash all agrees with you. Baby fat, that's probably the better term. I would probably say than chunky.
What a nitpicking cunt. Amen to that. That sounds like my kind of language. I like that. All right. We got more questions, or are we ending this puppy dog?
I thought we were going to talk about the starting 11 stuff.
We got to pick the 11.
Yeah, what are the major parts of the title that you changed?
Yeah, people are be like, when are they going to pick the 11? These fuckers. We did
that with the Sounders and the Champions League stuff too. Like that's in our live stream title, and then we cut the live stream off, and then we started the next segment. I'm like, shit, did we talk about the Sounders at all?
No. All right. Let's start with goalkeeper. See either Stefan or Turner.
Well, I guess we have to talk about one thing here. We have the upcoming friendlies.
This is versus Morocco,
and then we got the Nations Leagues.
Right.
So I guess it depends where you think Greg will
throw shit against the wall
and see what sticks. Yeah,
that will be the Grenada game.
So you make a good point.
Because we're going to win that game 10-0 either way. So
fingers crossed.
We're not going to lose to Grenada. It's not going to happen.
I wouldn't. I would not imagine.
It's not even like playing the Netherlands and Tilly's where there's two islands to battle. You're just battling one Grenada all by themselves. So,
in fairness, who thought we would have lost to Trinidad and Tobago? But their U16 team.
I get it. Trinidad and Tobago has a history though. They've made the World Cup before. Grenada's never made the World Cup. I'm not saying take them lightly, but if you want to play some of your B players, that's the game to do it.
It's kind of I guess this would be kind of my point too. You really don't learn anything from the players. No,
you can learn some stuff. You're not going to learn a lot. You're going to see if they know your system, if they're in the right places at the right times. Can they make connecting passes? Just some basics, right? But that's not to say that
the U14 team can do that to them.
That's not to say that players like CCV aren't going to get some time in some of these friendlies. They are. They might get the last 20 minutes. We probably see Scally for 20 minutes. We could probably flip-flop the goalkeepers in every other game if we wanted to. It doesn't really matter. I think Stephen Turner. Either way, you jerk that chain, I'm fine.
Okay, for the sake of argument, let's just assume that he's going to be touting out his A squad
for the Morocco and Uruguay games.
Let's just assume that.
Those are both good teams, very good teams. And he's going to want to see how we could. Those two teams were specifically picked to get us ready for the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
The Nations League games, not so much. El Salvador, Grenada, we should win both those games. Not that it should be automatic versus El Salvador, but we should, even with a B team, beat El Salvador. So yeah, I'm going to go with Stefan then. I think but honestly, I'll tell you, we go with Stefan in the first game. I bet you Turner gets played the second one.
You might as well. I mean, you kind of want them to still both be able to command the box if worse comes to worse. I mean, Stefan does have a history of a nagging back injury. So, years of sitting up straight riding pine, I mean, that's going to affect anybody.
Well, speaking of riding pine, Horvath will get the Grenada game.
Sure.
Do they say Grenada or Grenada?
I say Grenada.
I say Grenada too.
Grenada, yeah.
But who knows?
I think it's the potato.
Well, I think
it also in Qatar.
I think it also depends where you're from.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in England they say basil, we say basil. So they say herbs. They say herbs, we say herbs. Because they say herbs because there's a fucking H in it, as a once comedian said. There's fucking H in herbs. What are you just ignoring the H, Americans? What are you doing there?
We ignore ninja E's all the time. So
they say advertisement, we say advertisement. There you go.
I mean, aluminium versus aluminum.
Aluminum, yeah. There's all kinds of words we say totally differently. So it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean I'm a dumbass and don't know anything about soccer because I don't have my German accent anymore. Or now I'm one of your English accents. Some of you don't like Americans think that I'd be better off if I still had a German accent all the way through high school, so they could have made fun of me for all 18 years of my going to high school because they used to make fun of me, call me things like Private Clink or whatever that show was, Hogan's Heroes. I saw nothing. They used to call me that guy, that big fat guy, and I wasn't even fat. It sucked. All right, let's go with left back. So we're looking for the A team versus Morocco. We've already come to that conclusion, right?
Yeah.
So Robinson got his knee scoped. He's going to be there. I don't know if they did the complete scope, but they did some sort of scope. But he's here, so he's going to play.
I gotta assume since he's in the roster that he's going to be capable of playing. So
yeah. Otherwise, why bring him? I would just, if that's the issue, and he didn't have the whole thing done, I would tell him to just Colonel Clink. Thank you. No, but who was the fat guy who always said, I saw nothing? That's the guy they used to call me. I remember Colonel Clink, though. And then on the right, I'd like to see Scally, but I think we're going to see Yedlin starting at right back.
Yeah. Hopefully he works Scally in these upcoming friendlies and not just for the Grenada game.
I bet you Scally gets 20 to 30 minutes in those first two games just to challenge him. And then in the midfield, if we're really going with,
whoa, center backs.
Oh, center backs. Well, Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Obviously, for both games. Then you got to flip a coin, Long or EPB.
Basically, because you have to consider Long as your Miles replacement as far as fast, be able to partner up with Zimmerman. And we know EPB is quick enough to play that role too.
Yep.
I suspect, this is just me suspecting, but I suspect he'll stick with Long.
Me too. I do too.
And Twitter will burst into flames. Guarantee.
It will, but don't be surprised, people, if it's Zimmerman and Long. That's probably what it's going to be. And then you'll see EPB come in, and then CCV will come in maybe 10 minutes, maybe, but not in those games, the later games against, versus Grenada, I bet you CCV and EPB start, honestly. I think they do start right next to each other. Back three, I don't think so. Not against Morocco. I don't think so.
Yeah, and I think your point you made early on is probably the most accurate thing to say here. Is that the Morocco and the Uruguay game are literally going to be, they were established to start prepping for the World Cup itself.
They were picked specifically for that.
I would imagine that if Greg is going to try to tinker with shit, with formation change, it'll probably be a Nations League game.
Yes. El Salvador or Grenada. And that might be in the second half. Might not even be right off the bat. Might just be something they do with 45 minutes.
We'll see what happens.
And there's no guarantee it happens at all. He just talked about having it in his back pocket. That doesn't mean it's something you use.
And to play into whoever mentioned this earlier, and I forgot who I pulled up, but quite frankly, playing a 3 center back formation against Grenada won't tell us shit.
No.
About that actual formation. So I mean, even if he does do that, it would literally be just to get certain players more playing time. And that's about it.
You wouldn't do it there.
Shit about the formation itself.
You wouldn't do it against Grenada because, number one, you're going to be playing your B-side for the most part versus Grenada. So what's the point of getting your B-side ready to play back 3 back when you're going into a World Cup and the B-side guys are probably not going to be starting anyhow? So there's no point. So if you're really, I just think in practice is where they're going to do this. Now, if they break it out at some point versus Uruguay, I'd be surprised, but it could happen for a half, just to see how they do with it. If everybody knows what to do with a back 3, because the last time we did it was disastrous versus Honduras. So, all right, the 6, Adams.
Yeah.
These are easy. The 8s, McKennie and Musa, unless you're
I don't think McKennie's going to start.
Yeah.
I don't think McKennie's going to start. I think Luka and Musa will start.
Yep.
And I think McKennie will come in.
Yeah, you didn't let me finish.
No, I mean, I want to make that point because I'm right.
I know, but I was just about to say, but unless McKennie is obviously, they're still worried about his injury, which is the case, so he's not going to be starting.
It sounds like you heard what I said, and you're like, oh, that's a good point. I'm going to take credit for this one.
You talked over me, you fucking bully.
I don't know what you're talking about, Derek. Next time, finish your sentence.
I tried, but you're like, I'm Brett Corbett. I'm stepping in. I'm going to talk now, and you must relinquish.
It's funny because at work, I'll be talking to somebody, and then down the hall, I hear like, is that Brett Corbett? I'm like, shit, does my voice travel that fucking far?
Is Kermit in the building?
It's like I'm walking around with just a megaphone, I guess. People down the hall like, I think Brett's here. Go get him, We got a technology problem. And my response, turn it off, turn it back on.
That is the solution to most. Like I turn my computer off every time before we do a show and turn it on an hour before every show we do. Since then, no problems. All right. Knock on wood. I've got no wood. Oh, wait. Yeah, I do. Right here. It's my little weed box. All right. Anyhow, my little Jenny Kush box. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to say weed. All right. Pulisic. We'll start at left wing.
Yep.
And then Weah on the right.
Given his performances recently, you can barely argue it. Barely make an argument against it.
And then I think Ferreira's going to start the first game, but I do think Wright's going to get minutes in both games. He might start the second game versus Uruguay. That'd be my guess. But I think we're going to go with Ferreira as the A guy, right? Unless you want to start, seeing what Wright can do right away.
I almost wonder if that's going to be the case. I mean, I wonder because I don't know. We need to find a 9 right now, and even though Ferreira in this situation has the experience and stuff like that, Greg really needs to be testing these the players.
No, I think they'll flip flop. I think in game 1, Ferreira will start, Wright will come on. Game 2, Wright will start, and Ferreira will come on in the last 20.
I would like to see Wright just get a full 90.
I would like to see
unless his performance is just dipping.
I'd like to see how correct I am going to be on this. So let's timestamp this fucker so we can go back and make fun of me if I'm wrong.
120.
119
technically.
This is my best Berhalter mind melt I can possibly do. So there you go. All right. Do we have any final questions?
No.
No?
Nope. I'm just scrolling through the chat here just to see if there's anything popping up.
All right.
I don't see anything.
All right. So I will close with this. I watched this horrible YouTube World War I show the other day. And yeah, I get it, Mr. Morton. And this whole video, which kind of about the Battle of the Somme during World War One, and talked about how it was a long, multiple days, obviously big, long, lots of combat on various fronts happening, etc. What I hated about this video is how it made it out to be like he talked about the English, and the English guy was one of the guys with the voiceovers, right? He said, on their long road to victory. I'll just point out to these motherfuckers that there's no such thing in World War I as a victory. If there was a victory, all of them were Pyrrhic victories, i.e. meaning you won the battle, but you certainly didn't win the war. I mean, they did eventually, like, Germany surrendered and all that jack shit. But what we did learn about trench warfare at the time and the battle, and he said this, and the guy said, but they learned a lot about trench warfare and at the Somme, and it helped them going forward. Dude, 57,000 English people just died in just one section of the attack. World War One is the most useless war, one of the most useless wars that ever fucking happened. It shouldn't have happened, except for a bunch of butthurt aristocracies and cousins of this cousin, of this cousin, of this cousin in this country, and they all were butthurt by each other. And so we got a war for butthurt between people who are related to each other. We all know that the German aristocracy at the time was related to the fucking British and English, aristocracy. I mean, they were all related to each other. We went to war because they were butthurt at each other. So anyhow, what a worse reason to go to war than that. And they had all those alliances. So if you claim you declared war on that guy, then I'm friends with him. So now I'm declaring war on you. So yeah, what a horrible fucking war. I don't want to hear about on the road to victory in a video about World War One. There was no victory. There was just a lot of fucking dead people who didn't deserve to die.
It's all propaganda.
Because some fucking ass munchers who are the aristocracy can't get along, even though they're related to each other. All right?
That describes almost every single war known to man throughout history.
Well, World War II, there were reasons.
Right? I'm talking about. I said most. And all through history. I mean, you're basically looking at the whole English versus French warfare and throughout history have been relatives on one hierarchy fighting the relatives on the other hierarchy.
Well, certainly during the 100 Years' War, that would be the case. Not during the Napoleonic Wars, though. That was different.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of wars suck, obviously. They've been bad, like the Vietnam War. It took my dad, who went through 2 tours there, until he was like 60 years old to really embrace the fact that he fought in a war that sucked. Like, he didn't want to believe it, I mean, he knew it. He'd read everything. He's like, God, did we really do that? All those guys I saw die, they die for nothing. Yeah, they did. I mean, not nothing, but then that's life, right? We're all here once, and then we're nothing. We're back to sand, and maybe we make an impact. Maybe the Beatles will still be listened to 1,000 years from now. I don't know, but hard to say. So you can't have an impact, but we're all going to die. And if we're not here in a conscious sense, what's the point of necessarily making? I mean, they were talking about this with the guy who was the killer in the Uvalde or whatever. Like, he made a big, I don't know, he wrote a bunch of stuff, but he wanted to, and a lot of people are saying this, he wanted to be famous before he died. Well, I hope nobody publishes his name. That's all I got to say. Just Alex. If anything, I'd rather have Ferreira tested against the better team, Uruguay, since he's in MLS. I get it, but, Morocco's nothing to sniff at. They're a good team. Either way, I think it's better than playing Grenada. Keep saying Grenada.
Yeah, Rugganugga, you didn't miss it. We talked about Pulisic and Way. It was a pretty quick through because, I mean, quite frankly, that's who it's going to be.
And obviously, you're going to see Aaronson. He's coming off the bench. And he might start the second game, for all we know. Because I don't think he's going to play Pulisic both games as a starter. So, I'm crossing over live chats. Well, you've come to the very end of this one. So, you are going to have to do a rewind and rewatch it because we're about done. I don't know which one you were on, but apparently we're on the same time. They should have just danced, had like a dance off in World War I. I agree.
They were nice enough to take one day off on Christmas and play a game of soccer.
Yeah, but that had nothing to do with the leaders. They did that in a sneaky way, right? That was called fraternizing with the enemy, which you're not allowed to do. And but by then, both sides knew. On both sides, they knew. What are we doing this for? Why are we fucking killing each other? Well, those motherfuckers are back in their palaces, smoking their cigars, eating lobster, and jacking off to whores, you know, in their stable of whores, or whatever you want to call it. Concubine, I think is what they called it. So, you know, it's just ridiculous war. Dumbest war that was ever fought on that scale with that many millions of people dying. I mean, unbelievable. Civil War, at least there was a reason it was happening, right? Lots of people died in that, mostly from disease. So,
Samuel, we covered that earlier on in the segment.
We did, Samuel. You missed it. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Go. You're gonna have to rewind. In the old days when you had a cassette or a VHS tape.
It was within the first 10, 15 minutes before we started getting into all the normal stuff.
Remember that noise the VHS used to make?
Yeah, I used to work at Blockbuster. I know exactly what a rewinding VHS tape sounds like.
Blockbuster? You guys didn't even carry porn. No,
you
never went to Blockbuster.
There's a door that only for employees.
I only went to video
Sticky
stores
floors.
that had porn.
Gross.
They had to have at least one porn room. At least one. All right.
Just Sam, since you're at work, just give you a quick synopsis. The Canadian national team probably should have thought this through before doing it. But then again, it was a play that, I mean, I don't know the political stances that Canada and Iran have. So it was an event that happened 2 years ago. I don't know how
you blame a bunch of Iranian soccer players for their government shooting down a plane they shouldn't have shot down. Blame the government. This whole thing where we're banning athletes, and I don't get it. I mean, these are just normal people. Most of them don't give two fucks about politics. They just want to play soccer or in other things, tennis, because Wimbledon's banning a bunch of guys and gals. So Brett worked for a fallen empire. Which one's that?
Blockbuster.
Oh yeah, they did. I mean, you guys were hung around in Bloomington until like 2008, 2010.
I worked there through 2006. The one on the west side,
near Long John Silver's.
Yeah, right there off of was the third or second?
Yeah, you were near Long John Silver's. It's now a Verizon building.
Oh,
and it's empty. They shut down too.
Wonder if they still have the sticky floors.
You guys didn't have porn. Why would you have sticky floors?
You missed all of what I said during that whole conversation, I guess.
Oh, so you were still spanking it off. It didn't matter that you guys.
I said there was an employee only door, and sticky floors. No.
At this point, I'm sure it's all, evaporated. So I'm sure we're good. I don't know. The Verizon people might have enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And that was in Bloomington. You were here, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was in Bloomington.
I never went there. I had a video place near my house, so I didn't have to go that far. All right. Oh, Brett was spanking it behind the register.
I blamed it on the device we had to rewind all the VHSs too.
Brett didn't have to. He was more like that skit in SNL. He just jizz in his pants. No worries about jerking it. It's that easy. He was young then, vibrant college student. He just jizzed in his pants all the time. All right. We done here? Yes, we are done.
Great way to end it.
All right. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with grandmother. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, use Vaseline. It's helpful.
Do it again. Whoop. Fuck. And like it. That's way too many likes. I gotta comment on a channel. Fuck. Oh. Yeah. That should probably do. That should probably do.
That hurt. More verticality.